You either use the internet for fun or you use the internet to grow. You're here to grow. Welcome to TRS Clips. The one out and out negative about the BJP for me over the last 9 years, and I'm not anti-BJP by any means, but everyone who speaks against the BJP brings this up. I've asked all the BJP politicians who've come on the show about this. They defend it. Obviously, they say that there's nothing like that. But I'm a citizen of the country. We're all citizens of the country. The communal tension in this country has increased during the last 9 years. Way more than I'd like.
Okay.
When I brought this up with Nitin Gadkari, he said that it's a marketing campaign from the opposition's side. That they project the BJP as a bit of a fascist regime. And they say that, hey, you know, these guys are going to be responsible for eradicating people from other religions, non-Indic religions from this country. Okay, and when you bring it up with the BJP folks, they say, no, there's nothing like that. In fact, we've done a lot for Muslims. In fact, we've done a lot for minorities. And then they back it with data, as we spoke about.
True.
So the actual opinion makers when it comes to this communal tension situation are Christians, Muslims, other minorities, Parsis, who actually pro-BJP, which is what I also find weird, that there is a minority that's very much pro-BJP.
True.
So could it be that I hear anti-BJP narratives a lot from Muslims and Christians? There are two possibilities here. Either things are actually bad for them, or as we spoke about social media silos and information silos, are the minorities of our country being fed only one narrative, which is an extremely anti-Modi narrative. Now, I've tried talking to my Christian friends and Muslim friends about this. They are strongly of the opinion that it's case A, which is that as the privileged parts of this country, as the majority religion, we are not able to exactly see their problem and we're not able to understand the daily life. And the actual problems are not happening in the cities, they're happening in the interiors of the country.
Yeah.
Which is true. You do sense some kind of anti-Muslim narratives when you talk to, say, a Hindu cab driver. I make it a point to ask them about their villages, just to understand what's happening there. I've spoken to some Muslim cab drivers in Mumbai, and even they say that, yeah, life has become difficult there. For example, they're questioned more in public back home. They're scrutinized more. Jibes are thrown at them more. Okay. Now, the argument that a lot of our Hindu brethren put forth is that, hey, look at Pakistan. At least we are not Hindus in Pakistan where everyone is killing everyone. That don't go about the whataboutery. Let's address this. I personally feel that the right of opinion here lies with Christians and Muslims in this country. If they're truly feeling persecuted, attacked, threatened, there is something wrong.
What is wrong is the formation of something called echo chambers. Have you heard about echo chambers?
Yeah, the same social media algorithm, vertical.
Very simple. There is one thing to feel threatened and there is one thing to be threatened. There's a very thin border between both of them. The reason why a lot of people feel threatened is because some of them are actually threatened. They amplify it on social media, and the ones who are not threatened, they feel threatened. The concept of echo chamber basically says that if I have a certain opinion and I put it out on social media, eventually the algorithm will begin to feed me according to my confirmation bias. For example, let's say I'm a pro-Modi person. What kind of video will I click on YouTube? Will I click on a video that criticizes Modi ji? No. I will watch a video that talks about the development of India and how Modi ji is transforming India. The moment I click on that video, what will happen? The algorithm will understand that this guy will watch content that praises Modi ji. As a result, it will feed me more content. As a result, I will keep on watching more pro-Modi content. So my opinion about Modi ji will become very strong positively. Similarly, if you are a person who does not like Modi ji and you watch content that criticizes Modi ji, you will also be segregated by the algorithm as a person who consumes content that is anti-Modi. As a result, you will be fed that. Just like that, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube, once these echo chambers are made, what happens is tension starts building. Now, if you take the same concept and you try to apply it in the 1990s, except for small gatherings where our grandparents used to read newspapers or small gatherings where people used to meet during functions, apart from that, there wasn't a possibility of belonging to an echo chamber. But today, because of social media, you get ready access to that echo chamber. You get ready access to that information. And because of that, even though people are not threatened, they feel threatened. And when this piles up, you get a bipolar society. So that is what is happening, which is making people feel threatened overall. So the reality is far from what we see on social media. And because it is so nuanced, you can't actually comment on it. Because when it comes to some villages, Muslims feel extremely safe over there. But we may not see that as data points on social media. How many times have you actually seen people say, dude, I'm a Muslim over here and I feel extremely safe over here and stuff like that, versus a person who's being beaten up and that video is being captured and then posted on social media. Right? So if you and I have this conversation, we are talking with a very limited data set to actually get closer to the truth. We are far away from truth.
Yeah. I've always feared bringing up these names on the show because honestly, I believe in the last few months, because of those whole BJP podcasts and all, at least in the world of journalism, I have a right-wing image, which is not true. If anyone sees the show, they know what the true thoughts are within this mind. So I've always feared bringing up these names, but I will bring it up. And I'm saying this out of a place of respect, as well as it being an open invite to them. I want to invite both Rana Ayub and Faye D'Souza on the show.
At the same time.
At different times, ideally with a journalist who is fully pro-Modi.
Okay.
And I'll say why. I think Rana Ayub, first of all, at least for her own audiences, she is the face of bravery. And I'd followed on social media for a very long time to understand exactly what's happening, just because her name had come up so much in social situations. So I wanted to see what's up. It's just a stream of Muslims are being persecuted in India content. Okay. Now, my counter to that narrative that Rana Ayub puts forth is exactly what you said. Which is that, hey, maybe this is just highlighting the cases where Muslims are persecuted and possibly even Hindus are persecuted as much in certain parts of India.
Correct.
Which is true.
Correct.
And there are Hindu reporters who also report that in the same way and portray Muslims as the villains.
Correct.
So effectively, in Rana Ayub's narratives, the Modi government as well as most of the Hindus of our country are the villains. Or chalo, maybe if it's not portraying the Hindus of the country as the villains, it's definitely portraying the Modi government as the villain.
True.
I wanted to be on the show and break down these thoughts. Ideally, with someone just like her from like the other side, which is doing the exact extreme opposite.
Yeah.
I believe Faye doesn't do exactly what Rana Ayub does, but she's talking to a very similar audience. And again, respect for Faye for leaving journalism, doing a whole independent journalism career. I've said this repeatedly. I think Palki Sharma, Smita Prakash ma'am, and Faye D'Souza are leading the charge when it comes to new age journalism in our country.
True.
Faye, I would just like by herself, on the show. I want to break down a lot of things about the country with her. And I want to get to the bottom of this in terms of what are Muslims in our country truly, truly feeling? Because these are the influencers. These are the people that at least urban Muslims are turning to and urban Christians are turning to. So they have a huge say in society.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not accusing either Faye or Rana Ayub of anything, but I am inviting them on the show in order to deep dive. Have you followed Rana Ayub's content or Faye D'Souza?
No, I don't follow politics as much. I study politics, which has got more to do with economics.
New clips released at the same time that a podcast releases. This is TRS Clips. Make sure you subscribe.